Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over the Season 2 balance changes for Beyond All Reason. So glad you found us. Hope you're having a good day. If you can, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment about these upcoming ladder changes or balance changes we're going to go over. So yeah, of course, BAR is going to be going into Season 2. So OS is going to kind of do like a soft reset. Leaderboards will be updated, but the real meat and potatoes here of this post from PTAC and the main Discord is the multiple balance changes that we're going to be seeing. So, of course, starting off, we have some economy changes to some of the wind turbine structures split between Armada and Cortex. We have a metal cost buff to the Cortex wind turbine. Constructors are going to be getting a build power buff due to their higher cost. And on the Armada side, we see the solar collector build time is being buffed, wind turbine being nerfed on cost, tidal generator being buffed on energy cost, and then the advanced solar collector being buffed on build time. So kind of bringing things a little more into parity. I do like these kind of subtle changes, but I think the real cool stuff is coming up. So yeah, Tech 1 combat unit reworks. Big change here. All laser weapons now have 100% accuracy. Super cool. I don't know how long y'all have been playing BAR for, but if you've been playing it for any time, you do know that some of those laser weapons do miss their targets, including against ticks. So that is one thing that's going to be coming up here. I really like the change. And we have some great changes to some pretty core units. So on the Cortex side, we have the Exploder build times being nerfed. Incisors build time being nerfed, but like a nice healthy buff to the sight distance actually. So that's good to see. I know you always have to bring those scouts with them, but hopefully it makes it a little easier to micro those. We have a lot of changes to the grunt. The metal cost is being nerfed, range is being nerfed slightly, and a lower turn rate and acceleration, which will help with the grunt versus pawn interaction, right? I have another change to the Rascal here. It's being buffed on HP, which I really like. It makes it easier to kind of get a little bit of harassment damage done on top of the scouting. And of course, the Shuri's attack speed is getting nerfed just slightly. So I'd like to see that. On the Armada side, we have a great change to the Blitz. It's getting a nice little buff to HP and sight distance, and changing the hitbox to suffer less friendly fire. So pretty cool to see. I know this is a really underutilized unit in the 1v1 context. Not really sure about AV8s, but great to see this change. Maybe have some more parity between opening like armed vehicles versus core vehicles. Upon we have a metal cost buff, or excuse me, nerf, energy cost buff, and then a nice little buff to the HP as well. So I think they're just really in the direction of trying to get the pawn versus grunt matchup a little bit more balanced, so to speak. And with this T1 laser change, we have the tick is getting a bit of a change as well. It's going to get a nerf on metal cost, buff on energy cost, and the sight distance is being reduced, right? So I think it's a welcome change. The tick is a super strong unit at like all facets of the game, especially in AP8s, of course. You see lots of tick spam, so don't mind that too much. Making it a little harder to spam as hard as in big team games once you have a lot of economy. So of course to match the Cortex buff to the T1 vehicle scout, we have a HP buff as well. So pretty cool to see. And then a nice change here. I really like this. Stormbringer bomber is getting 17% closer bomb drops. I know the ARM bomber was a bit of a meme, so hopefully we end up seeing more of this in all matchups. I think this favors Armada quite a bit here. So I really like these changes. And then last but not least, you have the Banshees getting a nice buff to HP, new weapon type, and a higher rate of fire. So really welcome changes. I really want to see how this plays out in the 1v1 scene. And I think it's going to be good for the matchups all around. So great job for the devs for putting these changes together. We have some more changes coming up in terms of invisible units, so to speak. So yeah, the Sneaky Peek Jammer is losing its cloak ability. I know this was a little frustrating to deal with. Myself personally experienced this, and it did lead to some kind of cheeky, cheesy strats like that this post mentions. Like you can just cloak your commander underneath the Sneaky Pete and then just go sack your comm or D-gun a forward position. So Might really be a little bit easier to kind of counter that. And of course, a big change to the spy bots here. So EMP damage massively lowered from 56,000 to 500. I think that's just a function of like how easily they can EMP units of different health. They're stating in their post here, our goal is for the spy bot to be more effective against light T2 units like the Shelton and Mauser, while remaining ineffective against heavier T2 units like the Bull, Mammoth. Spy bots have made it a little bit easier to use, and that's just a function of they've added a manual attack command to instantly self-destruct on target enemy. I think that's also like a fight command you can issue with them, so they'll just self-heal themselves. And the stun has been greatly reduced from 20-second stun to 8-second, and the cloaking cost has been buffed as well. So once again, really welcome changes. I think like the 20-second stun was a little bit of oppressive, despite the fact you really had to like manually control these units. So they are tough to use, but I think it's just a good healthy change all around. I think like oppressive, unfun things just aren't cool to be, or it's just not good to have in the game. So I really welcome these changes. You got some more changes coming up. So moving on to some of the T2 changes, mostly affect the Vortex vehicles, right? So the Banisher's getting a really nice buff. Can shoot in all directions, so you're going to be able to kite units a lot better with these. Sight distance is getting a nice buff, and the energy cost is getting buffed as well. So moving on, the Tremor. Attacks have a better spread. Area of effect is slightly increased with 5% increase. And the damage per shot is getting buffed as well. And then last but not least, Poison Arrow. Pretty cool technical unit. We've seen a lot of this unit kind of pop up in the meta here and again. It's a great unit. It's got a lot of micro ability, great DPS, great range, right? So we see buffs all around, right? Energy cost, build time, and the sight distance is also buffed as well. So perhaps you'll see a Poison Arrow rolling up on your shores pretty soon. Moving on to Arm. T2 units, the Hound. We're removing the Gauze weapon, which maybe was a little lesser known function of this unit, but it did have 2 weapon types or 2 projectile types you could pick from. That's getting removed, and it's also getting a nice little buff to the metal cost. Another welcome change I'm seeing here is the Recluse is getting a range nerf, movement speed nerf. And this is just a great unit all around. I don't think this will change too much. Like, we'll still see this used a lot, but it just, kind of slightly toned down. It was a little bit overtuned perhaps as a T2 unit. So really like to see that. Some miscellaneous changes. T2 stationary radars are getting buffed all around. Metal cost, energy cost, and build time. I still don't think this is enough. I think the biggest thing I would change about this is just it can't be Juno'd, right? This is what you do not see T2 radars being made, because the Juno is so effective at taking out these kind of radars, right? So I think I'd like to see, like, personally, I'd like to see maybe the Juno like not affect these units straight up. Neb had a great point. It's just maybe like stun them. They lose their radar coverage while they're under the Juno shot. Some changes to the Armada and Cortex jammer ships. They're going to have a higher cost and more durability to be in more line with other ships, right? So HP buffs, and then everything else is getting nerfed, right? Speed, build time, metal cost, energy cost. Like to see that. These kind of countermeasures are really, really powerful, and kind of like this change. And then a nice buff to amphibious tanks. Sight distance is increased, and faster turning turrets. So pretty cool to see. These are relatively slow moving units, so anything to help keep them kind of out of harm's way and defend themselves better is a welcome change. And then this like Armada Turtle. This is like an amphibious heavy tank, just getting a nice sight range buff there. So that's all the really big changes. I know there's a lot more we can talk about. This post did include an announcement about the upcoming Alpha Cup. I think I might include this in a separate video, but if you're interested, this is just a 1v1 tournament happening April 12th next month. So, and it is going to be played on this next balance patch. So hopefully you guys like this little video. If you can, leave a comment what you think about the changes. Are they good, heading in the right direction? Are there things you don't like, things you do like? Of course, always looking for feedback on the channel as well. So just want to say appreciate y'all watching the videos, liking, leaving comments, subscribing. So stick around, stay tuned for more, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.